Thank you for the opportunity to be here to speak. It's a real privilege to be here. About 8 years ago, our community and our family had lost a very great person, at least mine. It was a person who came from humble beginnings. It was a person who was a self-made businessman. It was someone who looked to create jobs for other people, not just to become successful on their own. It was someone who helped build a synagogue. It was someone who raised 6 children who are all successful in their own way, are all educated, and they have been parents and leaders in our community who are now, of course, devoted to community service. That man was my Babaji, my grandfather, someone who we have a lot of pride in talking about. And 8 years ago, when he passed away, we've been trying to comfort our Babaji, our grandmother, from his passing. We would spend Shabbat with them, with our Babaji. We would go to their home frequently. We would go to weddings, bar mitzvahs, bar milas, and say hello. We'll come to Knesset, and she sat right over here. And every Knesset would say hello, Shabbat Shalom. And in that time of comforting, we began to realize that we weren't comforting her. She was way too strong for that to happen. She was comforting us. Because our Mamajun was the keystone of who we are. Meaning, when she is not in place, nothing else was in place. And she defined who we were as the Mazda family. And like all great people in the past, all great tzaddikim, all great nabiim, all great leaders that our community had lots of. She did it through teaching us. That's why we all became great students. One of the things she taught us about tradition and religion. My mama did not believe in having a contract with God. To her, God was a part of her. She felt it as innate inside of her. She used to say, "Har vaqti dabas ke khabinin va har sobi ke khamishin bayad begi shema Yisrael ke az Khuda tashakkor kein inqadar ma ek zindagi khubi." She would teach us communication because she was a master communicator. She would talk to our whole family on a daily, weekly basis. She would keep in touch with everybody, want to know what's going on. If you look at our family, you know we inherited her genes. That's what we're all deluded out of. But I remember on Shabbat, she would go around the whole table as Madame Benan Abagir, as Farm before seat. I said, "Chetor, pharmacy, Chetor, Dustari, Karazia." از من میپرسید جمعی کار دوست داریم، بیمارستان دوست داریم؟ من گفتم بله مامان جون خیلی دوست دارم. امروز رفتیم اتاق عمل یک ساعت آدم کار کردیم. مامان جون میگفت نگو حال بد میشه پلیز نگید. برای هر وقتی she wanted to be involved. She wanted to keep her finger on the pulse of her children and her grandchildren. She wanted to have a connection. And many of us don't know that we inherited some of her charisma. She was even better, probably the best storyteller that we all remember her from. We all know that she can take her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, sit them on a floor, and for 2 hours no one says a word because she can talk the whole time and keep us entertained. From the Keith story to the second story, to the Naga story, we all remember this one because these were the unique times where her soul will come to the surface. And we get to be a part of it. That's how we all remember her about. And then the most important lesson to me, among all the teaching and lessons, I think has to do with the most important one, which is love in marriage. And for Mama Anju to teach us, it wasn't about what is love in marriage. There's something much more complicated. It was about how do you love your wife? How do you love your husband? Because us people who are newly engaged and married, we didn't know that yet. We were trying to learn that. And so she would teach us. And she did it the best way she did. She did it by action. My Mama Anju, Baba Anju, their love was very unique. They were comfortably in love. By that I mean, مثلا بابا جون میگفت ما چرا چراغ روشن گذاشتیم یا چرا در خونه باز گذاشتیم چرا نمی‌بندید؟ بابا جون میگفت چشم آقا هر چی میگی من میکنم. موجود میگفت من دیدم که شما نمیکنید. When Raquel and I first got engaged about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I took her to meet Mama. And I was very excited, a little bit nervous, because everyone wants their grandmother to have a first good impression of their wives. And I said to her, Mama June, Raquel, she doctor Mushkil, Meganun, Baytime family, Bahta. And then she would look us in the eye and she would say, Baby, hiç vaqt از همدیگه جای نباشیم. اگه عصبانی بشیم، اگه جنگی شد، آشتی باشیم و بخوابیم. This one line, I think, defined her as being a wife over everything else. Because to her, being a wife was not about materialism. It wasn't about having things that she wanted. It wasn't about being selfish, and it wasn't about just a wife sacrificing for her husband. It was about partnership. She understood the meaning of partnership. And among all the lessons I've learned, and I've been around the block a few times and seen people sick and happy and glad, and even pass away more than others have. But this one lesson I learned is something that will always be with us. I think it's what defines us as a family. That to be married means you are partners, you are one, you are the same.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And aside from her tradition and her religion, being a master communicator, being an incredible teacher and storyteller, the lessons of teaching us about love, about marriage, about respect, and most importantly, what everything all this means, I think, to me, is shalom bayit. I think it comes above everything else. So thank you